So like start here real quick.
1, 2, 3. Like drop everything and just masculinize, right? We want to aim for something heavy, something that feels relaxed. Like often when people introduce rasp, they don't experience rasp in their baseline sound. So, we can go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as I start to get lighter here, what I want you to hear is we can tell the difference between getting lighter and abducting versus getting lighter and just getting lighter and just changing the vocal fold geometry rather than changing the kind of like way the folds are coming together. Okay? So if I go hello, 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 even if I try to keep the pitch relatively low, what we're going to hear is that hello, hello, hello. I'm getting light, but I'm not introducing any kind of noise. Compare that to this. Hello, 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 hello. Now I might even listen to that sound and say, oh, that sounds lighter than the sound previous, right? I'm maybe introducing some blurriness, but it's so much lighter. How good? No, actually, the other way around, right? We'd rather have the clear sound that's maybe not as obviously light as the blurry sound rather than having the blurry sound. So again, here's the comparison. I'll use the number 1, which doesn't have that H to begin with, so we can kind of divorce the initial H from the blur because those things can be linked as well. So here's an example. Again, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. There was a brief moment of 1 there accidentally where I got a little raspy. So 1, 1, 1 compared to 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now I would say that this maybe sounds lighter, but listen to how that kind of air leak is present in the sound consistently. So this same thing happens at higher pitches. It happens when people change pitch, weight, size. If I go hello, 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 my folds aren't fully sealed, and we hear that kind of air leak. Hello, 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 hello. Compare it to that, which has a much clearer sound, versus hello, 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 hello. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That comparison. So we might get this when we're singing. You can hear that persistent kind of sound. When we aim for this quality and we are kind of achieving that sound, we get this almost like a tea kettle like sound sometimes. That sounds like, like just before a tea kettle kind of goes off. That's going to indicate that your folds aren't meeting. Rather than, right, we want, one descends easily and without any kind of issue into the rest of the voice and kind of just stays connected. The other reaches a point where there's a sudden kind of change in the configuration of the folds. They go from severely abducted to suddenly adducted, and we get that sudden kind of yodely kind of behavior. So this happens when we do zoiks, scoob kind of sounds, or homie, Lisa needs braces, kind of Marge from The Simpsons or whatever. And the goal is to hear, can we start to divorce getting lighter from getting lighter and abducting, getting lighter and introducing blur, muffliness, rasp. I think of this kind of as progressing along a spectrum. When we're at the extreme of one end, it sounds clear. When we're at the extreme of the other end, it sounds raspy. And in between, it can manifest in a variety of ways. So if I go 1, 1, 2, 3, I would say that that's relatively clear. And I'm going to go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So the first step I would say sounds a little bit blurry. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. Versus 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, which is much clearer, right? There's not that same sound present. If I continue going, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, it starts to sound more actively. 1, 1. Actively turbulent, so we can kind of hear it's like sounds muffled, it sounds blurry, and as we progress, maybe hazy, and as we continue to go, it starts to sound raspy. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That kind of quality. So what we're looking to do is maybe exaggerate it at first. There's a couple of specific ways we want to try this. You can use a like harsh whispered sound. Hello, hello. It's crucial at this stage to differentiate between that kind of whisper and a false fold constricted whisper, which we might hear as like hello, hello. That versus hello, hello, hello. The kind of like pitch of the hiss, the sort of frequency of the hiss is going to sound a little different. With a kind of constricted hiss, you'll hear that kind of old sounding quality, elderly sounding, hello, oh, you whippersnappers kind of thing, versus hello, which just sounds kind of like a silent scream. So if we start with that silent scream quality, hello, hey, hey, slowly introduce some voice and see what that feels like. Then try, hey, hey, kind of like really just immediately go into that still, raspy, breathy, turbulent kind of sound, and then start to move away. For this, I like to remove the H with the first exploration. So we'll start with, hey, 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 hey. So I went from to a, and that change, that little onset, can be useful to tell if you're abducted or not. If you are forcing that little, like, kind of like glottal attack to happen, that sudden onset, if you're forcing that to happen while staying abducted, there's going to be a lot of noise to that little pop sound. So, for example, hey, 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 hey. That's sounding like I'm trying to force that little glottal attack to happen, but I'm obviously getting eh, eh, eh. It sounds almost like a cough in some way. So instead, we want hey, hey, eh, 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 eh. And I want to get, I want to stay light, but I want to get it clearer and clearer on every repetition. So that's one kind of exploration we can try. We can try that with a word that doesn't start with an H. It doesn't go from hey to A. And we'll try like the number 1. And again, start really intentionally raspy. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And the goal is to see if you can delete the rasp, right? 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It can help to try at a variety of sizes. So sometimes when people get large, they go 1, 1, 1. So start there. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's much clearer. Now as I start to get smaller, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I can make sure that I'm still staying clear rather than doing 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and introducing the rasp again. The rasp is the signal that your folds are pulling apart rather than staying nice and tightly against one another, snug maybe rather than tight, nice and snugly, sealed against one another during that process. So that's another way to kind of explore that. So if you kind of are playing with like, and you feel like if you just extend that little run down, right? Oh, I reached a point where I couldn't maintain that level of abducted behavior, and suddenly my fold started doing something I wasn't prepared for, and I got that yodel. Suddenly that kind of like, sure. So instead, and that could have been smoother, so we'll try again. And the goal is for me, as I'm doing that, is I'm just trying to iron out that sense of, okay, can I hear and play around with that variable of rasp? The raspier the sound tends to go, the more we tend to hear these kinds of unstable glottal events and kind of like, undesirable glottal behavior. I think there is some use for this kind of breathy sound in singing. This kind of raspy quality can be nice in certain contexts, but it tends to be something we want to turn on rather than having it be something default to how we think of the sound. So if we introduce this rasp, we can introduce it at any range, any pitch range. Hello, 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 hello. And this will feel hello, oh, oh. It'll feel kind of continuous with the kind of like quality that we might describe as heady, falsetto-y, right? But in reality, it's not a change between, M1 and M2. We can call that high note M1 too, right? M1 as well. That sounds like falsetto to me. And yet, I didn't hear any of the rasp. Whereas, if I go, I might also call that falsetto, but there's a presence of that kind of muffly, blurry quality. So we also heard the attendant yodel. At the end of the day, we want to be able to kind of smoothly and seamlessly go, right throughout the range. And if you do notice, exaggerate it, make it more noticeable, so that you can then say, okay, well, what would it feel like if I walked away from and then you can descend again, right, and see if it stays the same. Sometimes when people descend, they start fine. They start without rasp. But as they descend, they go and they'll suddenly introduce rasp as they descend. It's, if you're used to managing weight with rasp, then when you arrive at the bottom of the range of what feels comfortable or what you think of as falsetto or M2 or whatever, then you might find that you're trying to suddenly do extra stuff to manage the weight there. So instead, just see if you can kind of find ways to clear the sound up and see what you hear. So hopefully this was of use to you. If you have any additional questions, let me know.